Hello and welcome to Dare to Defy 7.
戦わないわけにはいかないようだな。
Alright, so for this little fight, we have a couple of mechanics that matter. If you're bringing a full-on offense team like I am, you should know one thing: these guys absorb water, which is why you saw that their bravery shot up to max there when Garnet used her second skill. I did that on purpose to break them with COD, because I want to build the first 5 of her stacks naturally, so I'm not going to be using any OD or anything of the like. I just want her to get to 5 stacks naturally so I can have some remaining LDs after the BT phase is finished. And Garnet can only do this the first time, because after they get their water imperil, they will resist your damage, but you will still have the thunder imperil on, so their bravery won't skyrocket anymore. The thing to note about these guys that I personally don't like is that during their second attack, that you can let them have a turn, but for my team in particular, letting them have a second turn has always proved in whoever they were attacking just dying. I have no mitigation on this team, none whatsoever. They are pure glass cannons, and so I can't let them have that second turn, otherwise whoever they're attacking is dead. Which is fine, I have 2 delayers on my team, so I'm perfectly capable of blasting them. I haven't seen much importance in their FR threshold. Yes, they start reducing your bravery, but if you're bringing a stack team like I am, I mean, pretty much I think everybody saved their best characters. Like, this is that's not there. They don't have enough mitigation, let's say, for both Ramza and Garnet for that combo. So I never cared much for their mitigation, for their FR threshold. The only thing that I didn't want was them to reach their FR gauge, and so I tried to make sure that they don't get their force time at all, that they don't get their attack, which you can do. COD does enough damage to make sure that they don't ever end up being a problem. The second thing that's kind of sort of important is that first little HP bar. This is probably the most important one. That first little HP bar and the last one. The middle one, I don't know what it does and I don't care. Those, you need to delay them, otherwise they will start healing by 10% a turn, and trust you me, you will feel that heal. It's almost a 2 million K heal, okay? It's a lot. So you want to immediately delay them, because they will also reduce the amount of bravery damage that you do as soon as they hit that HP threshold. And it's between after 80% and after 20%. That's when they will start gaining their yellow aura, particle effects, whatever, that will make them heal and make your life very, very difficult. I chose to hold on to my summon just in case I needed it at the end, but quite frankly, COD, if you're bringing COD here, you're delaying them to hell and back. You don't need the summon, you can use it in the beginning. If you feel like they're gaining turns on you and you don't want them to do their HP threshold, just like I don't want them to do their HP threshold. COD's force time is pretty cool, but at the same time a little bit difficult to manage. You do have to, the best thing that you can do is delay them. So Ramza is gonna raise their force time effect by quite a lot over here, and the important part is that Ramza actually doesn't break. You get less from break. You're better off delaying simply and not breaking, or at the very least that's the experience that I've had. And there we go, there's their aura. In this aura state they will take significantly less damage, and there's the healing, that massive healing, and that's the reason why I brought Scyther Call, because Scyther is a free, like, kick their butt Yes, we do 0 damage, but hey, card broke them, so now she gets a turn. That's actually very lucky. It took me quite a couple of resets to get that lucky, okay? To have card take all of the 7 turns. I'm not gonna lie, Garnet needs her speed passive removed to not be a pain in the arse when it comes to this team. Like, she is absolutely annoying, and so is Sid Reigns. I mean, look at him. He gave them 4 turns back to back. Could you imagine that? Like, these guys don't need to take 4 turns back to back before card. It's so flipping annoying when that happens, but you might want to bring Sophie instead of Garnet. That's actually a good something here. That's actually something that works here, because you should have enough auras. But yeah, these 2 massive auras together, card is going to do like an obscene amount of damage. And the good thing about cards is that her FR gauge, as far as I'm concerned, at very so from my personal experience, charges exceptionally fast while doing damage. A lot faster than most of the other ones. Like, she will get to ridiculous numbers way faster than, let's say, Terra or Tidus. At the very least, that's my experience with her. The problem is, yes, you do need the delays, you do need the follow-ups, because the follow-ups are the things that actually charge her way more than everybody else, because you get essentially 20% extra off of the follow-ups if it is her turn. So it's very conditional. It is absolutely very conditional, and it is absolutely selfish. It is absolutely selfish and absolutely for her, but at the same time it works. And if I would have had Garland instead of, let's say, Garnet, something like that, he would have delayed everybody. That would have also procced another 20%, which is ridiculous. Like, she can rank up that force gauge pretty fast, but it is a very specific setup, and I personally don't feel like you will be needing this setup, or you will be meeting the requirements for this setup every single time. And by the way, there goes their auras, but unfortunately for them, because I'm inside of my force gauge, I'm still gonna be doing damage to them because of this massive aura and this massive force gauge. And something to note here, they will not, cards LD doesn't actually work. Like, you will see me use cards LD here thinking that I can get them out of that force gauge. No honey, that's not how it works. Because look at that, they still have their aura and they are still healing, so you do actually need delay, not breaks. And cards LD doesn't delay, it just breaks. So that's one thing that you should be careful about, because I personally thought that it might work, but it doesn't. It caught me off guard. But yeah, once you get rid of that aura, it's gone for good, and now you're absolutely fine to summon and do nasty damage to them and make sure we kill them and they don't enrage, so you can kill whichever one of them you want first, and get rid of the other one once you're done with the first one. And I have to say, it's been ages since card has been good, so I am happy to see her be relevant again, because she's been carrying me through Chaos, Lufenia. She's mostly Lufenia. It was mostly Lufenia, yeah. But she has been my heart carry through quite a lot of leukemia stages, so I couldn't actually just not get her. I thought about not getting her. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I thought about, hey, I have the damage. I just need 2 calls of delay. Like, I could have brought Snow there instead of Cod, tanked the hits that they deliver and just breeze through this fight with 2 calls with the 2 calls the delay. That's basically it, and we have plenty of those. Like it doesn't feel like a difficult stage, and that's actually a good thing. I feel like this is a stage that people can do even with like not such a massive roster. That and I think a lot of people do have COD built from the last time that she was here, so if you do, if you already have her green, she's good, she's great. You might want to give her a spin. She actually does quite a lot. Her follow-ups are probably the only thing that I personally find disappointing. I don't think she has that massive of a follow-up, as far as I'm concerned. That's the one thing that didn't exactly get improved, but otherwise, she's great. She's fantastic. And then yeah, that was pretty much my run for the final tier of Dare to Defy. And I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts on the whole saga just a little bit. Alright, so now that this is done, let me talk about Dare to Defy and the teams that are basically used. First, my overall thoughts on Dare to Defy. I've always liked lockout content with different teams. We have 150 characters in the game, almost 160. Like, we're closing in on 200. Come on. There's no reason to use most of them, so I'm personally for lockout content. Otherwise, why wouldn't you this cam everything until Jack Garland and then grab Jack Garland and Luna Freya and Jack Garland and Luna Freya everything until the next broken flipping shit? Like, it's not fun when you have a clear broken meta unit and you can just spam that all over the place. So I like lockout content. I will, however, say one thing. I do think it was too early. There were a lot of units that I wouldn't have pulled for, maxed out, or even remotely considered this month if it wasn't for Dare to Defy. Like, I would have never gone for Gabrant. As much as I like Gabrant, I wouldn't have gone for him. I went for him because I wanted to save my units from, like, putting Machina here. Come on, no thank you. Like, no thank you, quite literally. I would have actually skipped Terra, believe it or not. I would have actually skipped Terra this month if we didn't have Dare to Defy. Like, that was my initial idea, because I didn't actually consider that Terra would do much for me. If this was a regular month, I would have skipped her, quite legitimately. Like, that is not even a question. I would have actually skipped Charlotta and Reno, both of them. I would have skipped both of them easy this month if we didn't have Dare to Defy. That's not even a question. I would have skipped COD. That's 4 at the top of just this list that I got. I would have skipped Ursula easily, but I got Ursula and I built her just because I thought I might be able to put her somewhere. Obviously, she's a dunce. And I don't really care for her character, so that was a waste of investment. But Cryo, I built Cryo. I built Fusion. Okay, I got Fusion Zephyr, and I built Fusion this month because of Dare to Defy. Like, yeah, It was too early. There we had way too much crap characters. Like Terra was the only redeeming grace. She would have been good no matter what. COD is amazing, but COD has so very little application. It's just like Reno. When Reno works, he's absolutely one of the best FRs that you can have. But more often than not, you're not gonna use Reno. It's just a fact. It's not even a question of, maybe I can use him in like 50-50. No, it's quite literally 5% of the stages you might want Reno. And even then, you're probably better off with a wall in your party, and you don't need him. And that's kind of sort of my problem. So yeah, Charlotta is good, for example, compared to, like, a lot of people compare her to Luna Freya. I do feel like the people who are trying to say they are different are kind of sort of like, come on. I know they do different things at their core, but in essence they are FR chargers with a good BT. Like, let's stop bullshitting. COD has amazing applications if you have a heavy delay team, or if you have Garland in your party. Her FR goes up with Garland's launch in the party. Like, they're all, some of these characters are good. But there's been some really trash characters this month that I would have never pulled for if it wasn't for Dare to Defy. So yes, I agree with all of the people who say this was early. However, I still agree with all of the people who say they want this every month. Because from here on out, we're gonna have some amazing FRs. Like, if Dare to Defy had started this month, it would have been great. We have Luna Freya, we have Tifa. A lot of, like, meanwhile, a lot of amazing FRs are on the horizon. Galoof's or Bart's dad, whoever he was, I think Bart's dad. Like, a lot of amazing FRs are on the horizon. This month is really packed with some really good stuff, which is not what this month was. I mean, the next month is packed with some really good stuff, which is not what this month was. This month was full of trash. And I personally, just because there were some FRs that were good, doesn't mean that all of them were, or that all of them deserve to be gotten or built. However, I will say one thing for Dare to Defy. The one thing that I do kind of sort of like and dislike about it is the fact that this thing doesn't need to be completed. It is just for completionist sakes. It is for people who have a really well-built roster, because you don't even get, like, you don't even get material for Ultima Blades from this thing. You don't get BT tokens, you don't get BT ingots. The only thing that you get is force enhancement fragments, which you will need anyway if you want to build all of the FRs for them. So it's literally paying for itself in a way, but it is not making you like, if you don't want to build it, if you don't want to do it, I personally feel like you would essentially be breaking even, and in fact be better, because you're for new players, I mean, specifically, these are not resources that you are gonna be extremely missing. Like, they don't give you enhancement points, which you really need to build your characters. They're not the big resources. They're quite literally the resources that you would waste in order to invest in a character or two to bring to this stage. So I personally feel like you're not losing anything by doing this stage, but at the same time you're not gaining anything super big, which is why new players shouldn't be like, oh my god, I can't do this thing, I lose a ton of resources. No, you're quite literally fine. If you can't do this, do as many of them as you can. And I do recommend do some of them, because you do get power stones and those are useful. So do some of them, but if you don't have the characters built, I don't feel like they even give you enough resources at the end of the day, because it's like 2 power stones per stage. You need 12 to max out an FR. So if you make the calculations, it's not worth building characters just to do these, you know. Like, that's my personal take on it, my personal opinion. I feel like this was too early. But if they continue from here on out, we'll be fine and I would love it. That's my overall thoughts on it. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.